All right. So to begin us today, a lot of what we think is based around what we're taught. So, for instance, for me, a lot of people have voiced their concerns or their doubt about me homeschooling my children. Homeschooling is one of those things where it's seen as taboo, even though the public school model that we all went through is only 100 years old. And it's the same thing with herbalism. Herbalism now is seen as alternative, and people question whether it works, if there's any science behind it, even though modern medicine is far younger than herbalism by thousands of years, actually. So it's really crazy when we think about it and how much of our opinions are actually our own. Lauren, it's for strengthening the heart. That's what that's what it does. It doesn't do, other things. So if you thought any of those, go ahead and write those numbers in. All right, and these are some questions that I say we have to stop asking. These are probably the most common questions that I get. And if you've asked them, you may have even asked me. And there's nothing wrong with that because we're going to learn, what are the better questions that we should be asking. I want to stop and see if I had any numbers. Okay, I got some numbers. 1, 2, 1. I used to think like number 2. Okay, awesome. All right, so these are the questions. If you ask these questions, go ahead and put this in too. What herb is for headaches? What herb is for cramps? What herb is for? If you've asked what herb is for, put the number 1. If you ask, what is this herb good for? Like if someone says, oh, I'm taking clove and a medicinal tea, and you say, what is this herb good for? Put it in number 2. And then number 3, how quickly will this work? So how quick will I see results? You can just wake up with whatever it is that you're going through 9 times out of 10. And so how long did it take you to get there? How long or how many weeks were you eating this way in a way that was not what was beneficial for your body? How long were you doing these things or having these bad habits? Cirrhosis of the liver. How many drinks did you have to have? So we have to make sure that we're being realistic with our goals as well. We have to experience them for ourselves first and foremost. And then we remember, we create memories and remember how our bodies react to them. And this is the way that our ancestors learned too. They didn't have, herb books that they can go and read about herbs. And if you think about even the very first person who came across herbs, how do you know whether it's poisonous or not? How do you know any of these things? So they learn from observation. They observed the taste, the smells, the colors, the sensations of how it felt and what they felt changing in their body to know, oh yeah, this herb works when you use it this way. Mom. But this is pretty much what it looks like. You have a space to write all your information about an herb as you're learning about it, as you research about it. And so you can always refer back to your notes if you need to. And I do that even for myself. And you do this, I think you'll do this, as long as you're studying herbs. I may forget, this herb is useful for what strands of bacteria. Let me go back and look. So I do that all the time. So it's very good to use. Some of the things that I put in it are the parts of the plant that you want to use. I put the organ affinity, as I just talked about, and energetics. I put all of those things. So when you're being holistic, you want to put all those things. Some of the folk uses, so the way people have traditionally used the plant, the description, what it looks like, things like that, where you find it, when to harvest, all that information is good. So, and this one actually, it's not moisture, it's tone. So excuse me on this slide. But we can think about firm skin versus loose skin, or a toned body, as I talked about, versus one that's, flabby, jiggly, so abs may be hard to the touch. Those are really strong, firm muscles. And then fat is more jiggly and soft to the touch. So organs also can be firm and toned. They can be relaxed and weakened. So that's, on either side of the spectrum. And now with this, you may think, oh yeah, I want my kidneys to be extra strong. Too much of either, as we always have that balance. Too much of either is actually not good. So if it's too firm, it can lead to stiffness of joints. So that's when we need those relaxing herbs. We need some relaxation. And then too much relaxation leads to being, too weak. Think about a couch potato. So we need to exercise our muscles. If we don't exercise our muscles, they get weak. So being balanced is always what we want to achieve. Already, your body has already consumed. I would say definitely get it from the true source instead of just broken down, digested, and all of that, if you get what I'm saying. So all the plants in one family have the same affinity. They usually do. They usually do. And they usually have similar actions. Yes. Really good questions. All right. So here's some of the different, if you didn't understand what I was talking about, some of the, I want to remember the terminology, the specific categories of herbs or the herbal actions. Here are some examples to clear it up. So things like heart tonics, circulatory stimulants, there's hypertensive herbs, there's hypotensive herbs, there's styptic herbs, and those stop bleeding. There's blood builders, and all of this has to do with the heart. So there's many people who say, oh, this herb is beneficial for the heart. How does it work? What does it do? So you want to understand these categories so that you know what's going on, okay, and then what's needed. And then that's how you can piece that together more readily. So the more specific we get, the more likely we are to yield a positive result. And the more likely we are to also avoid using the wrong remedy. So this is all a really simplified way of how you can put herbs together and be confident that you're going to have a good formula. So, but then the most important thing is, how do you get to the root cause? For anybody, just type it in or say it, whatever one. What did the E and the TEA stand for?
Energetics.
Energetics.
Oh, who said it first? I know you guys are all honest because we're all daughters of y'all. Who said it first?
It's all good.
Who said it first?
I believe I did.
Who said it? Who said